Yo, what's up, Plus Ultra fam? It's me, Plus Ultraman, and today we're going to continue one of my favorite what-ifs about my favorite Dragon Ball character. And as always, I'll recap. In the last installment, the Z Fighters arrived on Namek and easily changed the entire course of the saga, with Piccolo using his Kaioken technique to take the Galactic Emperor Frieza down. Lord Guru explained that he didn't have much longer to live, and felt Piccolo was a Namekian worthy of giving his essence to, and offered to fuse with him. This was left in a poll for you guys, and at the end of the part, you are all overwhelmingly voted for this fusion to happen, and we return to this story now. Piccolo accepts this offer, and exclaims to be beyond honored that Lord Guru would find him worthy of this, and they do the fusion in a more ceremonious and reverential way than what Piccolo and Nail did in canon. And remember, we decided this would be a 4.2 times increase to Piccolo's power. Goku quickly congratulates the Namekian he had come to see as a younger brother, but Piccolo is still upset with Goku's inaction in killing Frieza. He simply brushes his older brother off, and the Earth group, seeing their job completely done, released their ship from its capsule and prepared to board before Nail calls out for them to wait. He bows in front of Piccolo, pleading for him to stay on Namek to protect it, and Piccolo's taken aback by this. He does, however, claim that he has a responsibility to protect the Earth, and couldn't be gone from there for too long. That said, Namek did deserve strong protectors, and this latest threat showed the inadequacy of the current ones. So in his eyes, the only fix for this problem was for Piccolo to stay on Namek for a while to help the Namekian warriors train and power up, but he would need to return after 1 year's time. Hearing this, Goku gets a bit sad. He realizes that this would be the first time he'd be separated from Piccolo since they had met, but it could possibly help Piccolo cool down about this whole Frieza thing. You know, absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that. So, everyone says their goodbyes. Goku's and Piccolo's being particularly awkward, but Piccolo does tell Goku to say hi to Gohan for him. The Z Fighters get into their ship and start the 6-day trip back home, and by the time they get there, Gohan and Chaozu are already back in the world of the living. Gohan, having finally received real training from King Kai, is happy to be home, but has to apologize to his mother and father for his stupid little stunt against Vegeta. He expresses a strong desire to be like his uncle Piccolo, a strong warrior that can outsmart anyone. And at this, I think Chi-Chi, since she has a much better relationship with Goku in this timeline due to Piccolo's influence, and Goku decide to work together to help their son grow in the most balanced way possible. And the two begin to train his mind and his body instead of one over the other, both compromising and realizing the value in the opposite ideal. We then fast forward 1 Earth year later, and 2 powerful warriors show up on Earth, Piccolo and Nail, and Gohan is extremely excited to see his big green uncle, and Piccolo is just as excited as him, and hugs him. He even gives Goku a small smile, seemingly over his anger. The time away had done him very good apparently. Later that night at family dinner, Piccolo explains that a while after the Z Fighters had left, another huge evil key came in the direction of Namek. It was way stronger than what that monster Frieza had grown to, but very similar. But Piccolo simply used a Kaioken enhanced Dragon Bullet and eliminated the threat, and continued the training of the warrior Nameks. He spent the rest of his time on Namek honing the skills of the 4 Namekian warriors, and after 1 year decided they would be adequate protectors for Namek, and prepared to leave. But Nail asked to continue training with him, so that he could ensure that there would never be a threat to Namek again, and hopefully even learn the Kaioken. After this, the group's daily routine doesn't change much until 260 days later, when a mysterious youth appears in a remote location, curious as to why no one else was there. Yes, I'll be leaving Trunks in his normal position, even though Vegeta is actually dead at the moment in this timeline, meaning Trunks shouldn't exist, but I have reason for this that pertains to the story, so I'm gonna bypass this and just make this Trunks a constant timeline anomaly. Seeing no one else around for miles, he decides to fly off the Capital Corp to investigate, where he runs into Bulma. He asks her the whereabouts of Goku and gives her the runaround about being a Capital Corp employee, and she eventually points to the Mount Paozu. Trunks then flies there and sees Goku, Piccolo, Nail, and Gohan training and greets them, asking if he could speak to them, but being curious as to why there are 2 Namekians here instead of 1, but he focuses back on his topic. He tries to speak to Goku in private, but Goku warns him that because of Nail and Piccolo's hearing, they'll hear anything he says, so anything he says to him will be said to them as well. Trunks doesn't see much harm in this and begins to ask about the absence of Frieza and King Cold and how Goku was already on Earth, and Goku gives him the scoop. Trunks is floored at the notion that Vegeta wasn't alive. This meant that he shouldn't be alive either, right? Or maybe he had to be the one to get the Z Fighters to revive Vegeta, and then he and Bulma would hook up. This was hurting his head, so he'd think about it later. He then finishes his warning to Goku and tells him that he needs to reach the Super Saiyan state in 3 years and get even stronger than he was. He then unveils the legendary power, and this floors Goku and the others. Piccolo is even more shocked, as this was more of an increase than what he could currently get from his mastery of the Kaioken. Trunks gives Goku his heart medicine and then sheepishly asks the group if they would consider reviving Vegeta, as he could definitely be a huge help in the fight against the androids, to which Piccolo immediately rejects. After going back and forth with Namekian for 5 minutes, Trunks then decides to reveal his parentage, which makes Piccolo raise an eyebrow, but he still rejects this request, expecting Goku to also agree with him. Vegeta killed his nephew and Goku's son. There was no way he would condone this, but to his surprise, Goku readily agreed. Piccolo then begins yelling at Goku, but Goku mentions that before Piccolo was born, Goku couldn't see himself feeling any positive emotions towards King Piccolo, but now he was grateful that the demon had given him his baby brother. Piccolo himself was proof that things could come from evil that didn't have to be evil. Besides, Vegeta deserved the same second chance they gave Tien and Chaozu, right? Piccolo only snarls at his brother, angry at him once again, and tells Nail that they be leaving. As for Gohan, he isn't sure what to feel. His father and uncle were on opposite sides of each other for the first time in his life, but he decides to side with his father on this, seeing as how he was way stronger and could defend himself this time. His dad was right. People deserve a second chance, even if they did murder you, right? Goku then looks at Trunks and tells him that Piccolo wasn't exactly wrong either. Vegeta was a threat in the past and would need to be treated as such, and if Trunks wanted him brought back to life, he would be his responsibility. Trunks sweat drops at this, but reckons he could probably stay in this time for a while to try and help rein Vegeta in. And he could also help Goku and Vegeta attain Super Saiyan. Hopefully he could pay it forward and help Gohan learn it as well. So the Z Fighters are gathered and told what's going to happen in 3 years, and Trunks is given a place to stay at Capsule Corp for a while. The next day the Dragon Balls are gathered and the wish to revive Vegeta is made. Now when Vegeta is revived, he instantly goes into attack mode, but Gohan is able to knock him back pretty easily, and Trunks steps forward to explain the situation, from Frieza and King Cold being dead to the incoming threat of the androids. However, Vegeta doesn't care about any of this, but Trunks kind of plans for this, and tells Vegeta that if he were to help them, he would help him to become a Super Saiyan, and then flashes into the form, which blows Vegeta away. As much as he hates it, Vegeta has to join them, at least for a while. With Frieza now dead, the only goal Vegeta still had would be to be the strongest, and Kakarot was his only opponent in that, but he made an incredible gap between them while he was dead, and he would need the power of Super Saiyan to defeat him. He hated to admit it to himself. I mean hated, but this was a good deal. He would train as hard as he could and surpass Kakarot, and go about his business. He joined these idiots, but he wouldn't like it one bit. So we begin our training, and I don't see Vegeta taking too long to power up. He'd probably take advantage of a few Zenkais here or there, or have Trunks train with him one-on-one. Hell, he could even use the Capsule Corp ship to train under its gravity, and this will put him in close proximity to Bulma, right where Trunks wants him. Yet Trunks is kind of playing the Parent Trap game right now. After Vegeta is a lot more powered up, Trunks starts tutoring Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta on Super Saiyan, and let's say about 10 months in, Goku finally achieves the transformation, and Trunks decides that he can now take over the training, and returns to his time to find it unchanged. Yeah, multiverse theory is a bitch, buddy. With Trunks no longer there, Vegeta stops training with Goku. There was no way he would take advice from him. But Goku can now focus on Gohan learning the transformation. And I think with Gohan having tips and instruction from two different people, he does achieve the transformation. This happens after the 2.5-year mark, after Vegeta had achieved Super Saiyan and challenged Goku to a match, which Gohan watched extremely closely. Over with Piccolo, once again angry at Goku, he decides to focus his time on training with Nail under the watchful eye of his father Kami. Piccolo also realized that he needs to up the level of Kaioken he is able to achieve, but once he tries to go over a times 30, his muscles begin to explode and become useless. For the first time, he's running into the same problem with the Kaioken that Goku has. It's too harmful to his body. This tells him that he needs to train under the strain of Kaioken again, and takes this as his opportunity to teach Nail the technique. So Piccolo begins to spend entire weeks holding the Kaioken until his ki is completely drained, and slowly, he's able to up his limit. But to his dismay, he ends the 3 years of training with his new limit being a times 40. That said, Nail has achieved a times 20 pretty comfortably, but decides he will remain on Earth until the android threat was gone. The training for the humans doesn't change to an extreme degree, though here Tien and Krillin have had their potential unlocked and were already stronger than in canon before, so they will be stronger than in canon afterwards as well. As in canon, the Z Fighters arrive on the mountain overlooking South City, and thankfully, Bulma does have her son Trunks. Piccolo scoffs at this kid and tells Gohan and Yamcha to come to him, where he unlocks their hidden potential. Because remember, he can do that after fusing with Guru. He then tells them that they couldn't afford any risks and that they need all the power they could get. The Z Fighters then split up to find the androids, and again, I think Yamcha finds them first. Now instead of getting grabbed, I think he's able to start a fight with 19 after he breaks out of the grip of Jiro, just before he can drain him. Goku and the others arrive, and Yamcha isn't holding up against his rotund opponent too well, but Goku tells the two androids to follow them, which they do willingly. Landing in the wasteland, Goku steps forward and powers up Super Saiyan, telling the androids to come at him. Jiro is surprised, but not by an extreme amount, and 619 on Goku, where the two begin to battle. Now that said, with Trunks having spent more time in the past, he could have been sure to get Goku to take the medicine early. But remember, he was only there for about a year, and spent the most of that time babysitting his father as well as teaching 3 people the Super Saiyan transformation. So, Goku did not take his heart medicine and begins to get beaten by 19. Once the android begins to drain him, that is when Vegeta arrives and saves him, kicking him towards Piccolo, who isn't there to catch him, making Nail do it. While Vegeta begins his back and forth with Gero, Piccolo zooms forward in a Kaioken times 40, and with one swipe, takes Gero's head off, and with another, slices him clean in half and finishes off the android with a blast. Vegeta scoffs and powers up the Super Saiyan himself before destroying 19 as well, leaving no trace of the androids. Moments later, Trunks arrives and is told that the threat is over, and at this point, they just need to get Goku some help. Vegeta tells Piccolo to take Goku home and give him full health, because now that their threat was gone, he wanted to take Goku on himself and kill him. Piccolo is angry with Goku, but doesn't want him dead, and grabs his older brother, flaring into the Kaioken and flying away towards Mount Paozu, where the medicine is administered and Goku slowly recovers. Once Goku's fully recovered, Vegeta arrives outside his home with Trunks, and demands Goku fight him. The Saiyans duke it out in a great battle, and I'm sure Goku comes out on top, but he and Vegeta agree to keep training and fight again sometime. Nail also announces his departure. Trunks uncapsules his time machine, and Piccolo approaches him, placing a hand on his head and unlocking his inner potential. He then explains that his duty was to protect the planet Earth in any timeline, so when he returned, he would need to travel to Namek and use their Dragon Balls to undo all the damage to Trunks' timeline. Trunks then fully explains the differences between their timelines, and Piccolo decides he would go to Trunks' time and try to get in contact with the Namekians there to help them. The two clamber in the time machine, squished in there by the way, and disappear. And so, everyone thinks it's now peacetime. But over at Dr. Gero's lab, a tall figure enters by force and is beyond happy to see his targets still asleep in their pods. He activates them, and in one fell swoop, absorbs them both, achieving his goal. He was just about to leave when a thought crossed his mind. What if his counterpart from this timeline? He then smirks and breaks into the basement, seeing his embryo state. He then breaks into the incubation capsule with little effort and decides to absorb himself, just to add more to his already perfect state. Back at Mount Paozu, Goku and Gohan were currently outside, sensing a massive power just suddenly appear, and it wasn't on their side. They're about to go investigate when they sense it heading towards them, and soon the culprit arrives, showing himself to be a tall green creature by the name of Cell. He tells Goku his backstory, and Goku facepalms, realizing Trunks never gave them a description on the androids, and asks Cell what he plans to do now. Cell tells him he wishes to defeat him, and then he destroy this planet and take over the entire universe. With the knowledge that this creature was partly him, Goku tells Cell that he couldn't give him a decent fight yet, and that they need more time to improve. To this, Cell says he wasn't going to wait long, and Goku instantly remembers the room of spirit and time, and tells Cell that they just need 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, they'd be ready for him. By this point, the other Z Fighters, minus Piccolo, arrive, and Cell makes the official announcement that the Cell Games were happening in 14 days before flying off. Goku begins trying to talk to everyone about what they would do, and at that moment, Trunks and Piccolo arrive back in the present, looking pleased with themselves, before sensing a massive power and asking Goku what the hell had happened while they were gone. But that plus those fams are going to be leaving this storyline off for right now. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and share the video. And as always, go beyond plus ultra. See you guys next time.